Hi, everybody. Hey, Bruce and Longshoreman and Quality Product. How you guys doing? The sound okay? Can you? Okay, I'm doing very good. Um, doing very good. Hi, NS something. Sound all right, guys? Sounds okay. Hey, Sir, I'm Seth Morley. Not bad, just getting hit hard with the snow. Yeah, same here. It just my wife texts me and says it's snowing. I looked out and bam. Hey, Christos. Oh, good. I'm glad this sounds all right. This is the first time joining your live show. Looking forward. Oh, welcome. Okay. Hey, Bruce. Hi, as I said, or no idea, or something. Okay. Let me sort of talk about some stuff that I wanted to cover. The Today's sort of theme is what do watch collectors want in a watch? Hi, howdy. Now, I think we all want like a really great price and a really great watch. Hey, Clyde, how you doing, man? Um, and 46 sunny in the flyover states. Well, I tell you, we got no sun. It started snowing about 10 minutes ago, and it's supposed to snow for a long time. Yeah. Anyway, hey Joseph, how you doing? Anyway, a couple things came up. The first thing was that somebody sent me an article about hi Jordan about the some guy had written something in six SYX, whatever the name of that magazine is, about the importance of accuracy, and that accuracy in a watch is part of the quality of the watch. And yeah, it is, but it's sort of a funny thing. All of us know that if we want like really good quality, all we got to do is pick up our iPhone, all right, or look at our Quartz watch, or even look at our Fitbit. They've got really good timing. Now, on a mechanical watch, uh, you're going to have all of these different things. Uh, on the one hand, people like me, first of all, I like a slow movement. I like a big balance wheel, and I like to be able to see the movement. And one of the things that Roger Smith said is that he likes slow movements so that things last longer. All right. In other words, you put in these fast movements, fast frequencies. It's like beating a rented mule. That thing's gonna wear out sooner. Now there are certain things. There's this one watch I think it may be by Breguet, and it's a very high frequency watch, and it's suspended by magnets, and so there's like no friction at all, at least on the balance wheel. But you're running the other gears too while you're at it. But that's okay. I mean, some people really like that. I I I still am of the belief that a slower frequency is, if it's doing right, if it's doing well, is a sign of a good movement. Okay. For example, you take a 6498, 6497, great big old movement from a pocket watch originally, and you're running at the version one runs at 2.5 hertz, 18,000 vibrations per minute. Okay, so other people like really good accuracy, and so that it's these kinds of things. So um, let me ask you guys, and what is it that so you're looking at a watch, or you're thinking about getting a watch, and what 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 is what's the first thing that comes to mind? I mean, when you're thinking about it, well, let me see. I want a really accurate one. I got an accurate, super accurate with my iPhone, even my Fitbit. But I don't want an inaccurate watch. In other words, I don't want one that runs really fast or really slow, but you know, pretty close to one time. Hey, Rob, how's it going? How are things in Portugal? Hey, Laura, how you doing from the Netherlands? Okay. Hey, Jordan. Okay, let's see what else you guys have going. Hey, Forbin. Let's see. Okay. Oh no, the sound is off. Uh-oh. Hey, is it okay now? What's the beat rate? Okay. Boom, 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 boom. By the beat rate, you mean the frequency. Okay, the sound's fine now. Okay, good. I could have turned my head away from the microphone or something. I don't know what it is. Okay. Uh, Sound is on. Good. All right, good. We got that squared away. Hey, Mezzine 44, how you doing, Mark? Hi, Mark. Uh, so let's go back to the hey, Ali Riza. How you doing, man? Okay, I just found your channel last week and have been going through the backlog. Keep up the great content. Thanks, man. I will. I get a lot of great content from you guys. I really do. I know that sounds like, saying something nice about you, and I hate to do that, go to right to your head, but it's true. Um, okay, is it possible to make a 1 BPH movement? No, I don't think so. I know that there is a 1 hertz movement, a watch that does that, and so that's something else. Amplitude, Forbin, Colossus. Nobody understands it, but a lot of people are really good at pretending they understand it. I'll put it that way. No, it is important. I'm not exactly sure how. Hi, Britt. Hey, Pete. Crappy. How you doing, man? Let's see. Look style. Okay, the look style is important, backed up by excellent mechanics. Then bingo. Okay, Rob. That sort of sums it up. Now, I suppose the what other kinds of aspects? Now, one of the things that I like are things that are interesting mechanical things. Let me show you. This guy right here is my Henry double hairspring. And what's cool about it is that the double hairspring sort of it's like sort of one torque offsetting the other. And so you keep the center post and the balance right at the same place rather than having the torque pull it one way or the other. And that's sort of a very cool thing. Now, I don't sit around looking at my watch, I mean, looking at the time, but that's one of the things. Um, Craftsmanship, yes, Siram. Craftsmanship is another thing that's extremely important to me. If if you look at a watch, by the way, here's my new watch. Ta-da. Um, the the craftsmanship is very important. One of the first things I did when I got this is I looked at the beveling, and the beveling was at first I looked and I said, boy, it doesn't look like they really beveled very much. But then I turned it in the right light so you could see it. It was just beautiful beveling that was done. So hand beveling is I have some watches with hand beveling, and that's sort of cool. But one thing about hand beveling, you can tell it's hand bevel because it's uneven. A machine bevel thing, you go zzz, zzz, zzz. those are all perfectly done. Um, let's see. Hey, Richard, Fort Lauderdale, how are things down there? You want some snow? We got snow. So the accuracy will become worse over time. Is there a minimum BH BPH trade-off for this? Yeah, here's excuse me. Hey, Mark. The the trade-off, oh boy. Um, if you look at the great majority of watches today, they run at 4 hertz. Okay, that's 28,800 semi oscillations per hour. We'll say beats per hour, but it's really semi oscillations per hour. Hey, how you doing, Eric? Um, 3 hertz. Now, I like 3 hertz. I like 2.5 hertz and 3 hertz. And I think just most of FP Journes are 3 hertz. And a lot of Audemars Piguet are 3 hertz. And this is one of the things that sort of bothered me about this article. This guy's doing all of this stuff and using all these formulas to show us that, what they're using for measurement. He's got one Audemars Piguet, and it is a 4 hertz version, which I thought, if you really looked at the Audemars Piguet, you'd find out most of them are 3 hertz. Okay. Um, hey, Klaus, how you doing? And now we have Norway. Great. Tippy, I watch it to be 2.5 and 5 hertz. That's sort of an interesting mix, Tippy. I can see why. On the one hand, you want this like super accurate one, and then the other hand, you want this super crafted one. That's sort of a cool one. Hey, Richard, am I the only one that wants to trade my Rolex Submariner for an Apple? Um, I don't have a Rolex Submariner, but, but I don't have an Apple Watch, and I don't particularly want one. Uh, hey, Alex, I'm using this stream as research for my next watch. Okay. Um, do they make a watch over 4 hertz? Oh yeah. Zenith has a 5 hertz one. There's one by Brigade that's like 36 hertz, something crazy like that. Hey, Wesley, how's it going? Hey, Joe R. Um, Charles Forsham watches. Oh man, I love those watches. Charles, have you guys seen Charles Frodsham? I guess is how you say it. For very nice. Those are handmade. They're very expensive. Um, I asked for a 3 hertz and got 3 Avis. Yeah, they try harder. Okay. Yeah, Zenith makes an 18 hertz. Yeah, that's they really have a. You talk about beating a rented mule. Letters have. Am I at two minds about history of a brand? Example, Ming. Love their watches. They don't have a long history. Neither does that Pjorn. Neither does Kerry Voot and Lana. None of these new ones do. Parmigiani. Even Philippe Dufour. None of them have a history, and they make the best watches in the world. Um, Moser, my one of my favorite brands, uh, they really sort of started in I think 1996 or something like that. Now it was a name from the past, and they respected that. Same thing with Beauvais. Beauvais 1822. They've got no relationship to the Beauvais family or anything like that. And if they did, I don't know how much difference it would make. So, I mean, the history of it, like you take Monet, I think what they invented the chronograph or something like that, and but the current ones are a little iffy. 18 hertz. What's the service interval? 15 minutes, but you can get there on time because you can see it beating. Brigade Beret. Here you go. um, they use silicon. Yeah, yeah. This is something else. Let me ask you that. What do you guys think about silicon? Uh, I, I'll keep my mouth shut. What do you think about in terms of wanting a watch? What do you think about silicon? You guys good with silicon? I want a Grand Seiko. Okay, Britt, you can get a Grand Seiko. Um, okay, Braymont, the bees are bussing. Okay, silicon is a revolution in watchmaking. I don't know if it's a revolution or not. It's been around for a long time. It just, I don't know. I feel uneasy about it. To tell you the truth, I like That Rolex, I think, made us. They have a Cilium, something like that. Spring, hairspring. Then they have another one that's all metal. I like the all metal one. A lot of watch companies use these the springs made in the Mosers are niobium and titanium. Amazing combination. And they make something like 25,000 hairsprings and yet turn out about 2,000 watches. And I'll give you an idea. There are a lot of very, very high end watches that have an, a Moser hairspring, but they don't advertise. The only one they know about is MB&F. Uh, I'd be okay with silicon in an intentionally modern watch, but it's something highly crafted. I prefer traditional movement. Yeah, yeah, Mark, I'm pretty much the same way. Um, I like to sharpen my knives. I don't get ceramic ones. Okay. Um, what do you think about? Okay, as long as they Clyde, what is Clyde? Oh my God! All right. I prefer wood springs. Hey, that'd be cool. Yeah, you can join me. I'll make my models out of popsicle sticks. Um, okay, let's see. All you need to know about silicon is ask world would the Germans use it? I don't know. One of my favorite watchmakers is Marco Lang, and his stuff is just beautiful, just gorgeous. Um, Bruce has Rolf Lang's watch now. It's another, yeah, you look at the movement on that, you flip it over on the back and look at the movement, you can see the handcrafted movement. And there's something about that I like. Now, okay, so that's one of the things we talk about. The other thing I want to talk about has to do with what we want versus what somebody else wants. Okay. I heard a discussion the other day, and they're talking about this and that. Um, Are you, Bruce? I wouldn't take it off either. I wore it a lot when I had it. Anyway, there was a discussion going on among watch collectors, and one of them said they had to have small seconds, or they had to have not small seconds, but a second hand. Now, a while back, I sort of, what do you need seconds for? Who uses seconds? I don't. And so do I really need them? Somebody said, well, if with the nice thing about secondhand, you can take a look at your watch and tell whether it's ticking or not. You just take a quick look, and if the old secondhand is rotating, the watch is going. And that's okay. The other thing is that, some people like really clean watches without that. Um, to me, there are a lot of different things that I don't like at all, but I would never, I guess, say, well, nobody should have that. And I see that sometimes. You got to have this watch. You must not do that. Hey, you know what? It's your watch. You can get what you want. That just sort of drives me crazy. Like, I'm not crazy about the spring drives in a Grand Seiko, but I'd never tell someone don't get a Grand Seiko spring drive. I'd never say that. Nor would I say don't get silicon, but I would say it's not for me. There's a big difference between in that kind of that kind of caricature. The Someone said never get a cheap Chinese watch. I got one, and it's great. I love my perpetual regulator, and they're in their fourth production run now. You can't get them till May, and the price went up. But the thing of it is that it's fun to explore these different things, and it doesn't. I mean, if you like it, and you have a reason for liking it, or you have a sort of a connection to you, what does it matter? I do not understand people getting all Nazi about having a certain feature or not having a certain feature. That's crazy. So, what we want, and that's the other thing too. You can really discover, yeah, somebody wants something, and it's not something I like. And I take a look at theirs, and they talk about it and so forth. And maybe that would be sort of cool to have. And I think that's important to keep an open mind about. And that's how we learn stuff. I don't know. That's just me. Different strokes. Mezzine 44. That's a good way to put it. Hey, Crappy. Oh, wait a minute. Are you a different Crappy? If you like your silicon, you can keep your silicon. Right. Hey, Klaus. Never say never again. That's right. Hey, Tim. I still love my uncountable pole jot alarms. Pole jot alarm. I think, yeah, I've got one. I've got a pole jot alarm. Now, the thing is, I've always had really crummy hearing. My hearing was shot a long time ago. And so I've always, just had bad hearing. That's the way it is. And but I got a pole jot alarm anyway because I wanted to have an alarm. I can't hear the thing. That thing, I'd have to have something with a make sound like Big Ben before I'd hear it. But it's fun to have, and I can feel it vibrate, and that's always fun. But there's these kinds of things that people go crazy about. They mustn't have this. You must have that. One thing I discovered that it's a lot of fun to have is a retrograde. I've got this dual retrograde on this Harry Winston. I thought, that's really cool. And then I found out that the retrograde was by Agenor. Whoa! So you can find stuff like that. Hi, Amen. How you doing, man? Um, okay, what else? What are you guys talking about? Crappy. What was that? Ha ha ha. Okay. Hey, man. Let me see. Black dials matter. Black dials matter. uh, I have some black dials, but I have a hard time reading them. So naturally, what I do is that I get a brown dial. I think, oh, that's going to be a lot easier to read. One thing I found out, and I've talked to Bruce about that, and some of the other guys who've had this Rolf Lang. And the thing about it is, it has these are called, I'll say it incorrectly. Those of you who speak French, help me out. Is a fuel hand. It means leaf in French. And they're not, they're not these big fat hands. You get a Rolex or something, you got those big polka dot and these big fat hands. It's very easy to read those hands in that watch, in that kind of watch. These other ones aren't necessarily, but so you spend a little more time looking at your watch, which is always a lot of fun. Hey, Tim, what are you doing? What do you think of the VC traditional something manual? I love the traditional. The manual one I like is the triple calendar. God, I love that watch. That's just a beautiful watch. They're not too expensive. Well, when I say not too expensive, look at the range things go. Okay, form follows function. Gee, that's original. Let's see what you got. I need a watch which primarily tells me the time easily. Some designs, it's hard to see what time with a pair of glasses. Yeah, I know. That's Rob. Yeah, I understand what you mean by that, but a lot of times it just doesn't work, at least for me. Sometimes watches may be a little harder to read. This one's not too hard, believe it or not. But you got to turn it to just the right angle, otherwise it's hard to read. Now you got, I'll tell you one. It's an incredible watch. We had a review of it recently, and that's the what's it called? The that new one from Moser, the Streamliner. The Streamliner. I was looking at that thing, and you got these little hands that come together like a rattrapante, and then they go apart and they act like a they are a chronograph. Okay, now what do you use a chronograph for? I don't know. So many people have chronographs, so they love them. I have one and I hardly ever use it. But it's so what? It's a cool thing to have. Some people like the looks of them. The one with all the big pushers sticking out look like a water mine sinking ship. Hi, Richard. I like the Seiko Presage line. I don't blame you. Those guys, the Presage, when we were at the Watch Time show in New York, the guys at Seiko Presage gave us these big suitcase size bags. We really liked them. But I think a Presage, oh boy, let me see. I forgot something about Presage, but I mean, if you want a good looking, accurate watch, Presage is a wonderful one. Hey, Bobby, what's up? I have a customized world time with our own selected time zone name. Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Okay, some skeleton faces are hard to read. Oh, hey, Rob, I now that's a little too much for me. I agree with you. I'm not crazy about skeletonized dials at all. Um, there's some like the MB&F ones that they have that you can see all of the movements and everything, but the dial is pretty clear, but even though you can see all of the insides and everything. Okay. The food. What is that how you say the food? I say fuel, something like that. Okay. Okay. Is an actual Aganor movement in that new Moser or just inspired by it? No, it's by Aganor. That God, I tell you, what a watch that is. They had I communicated directly with them. I made a friend at one of the Vita Rex. He and I go back and forth about stuff. I asked him about that. I said, "What's new?" He said, "Well, they took out the hour hand and then they put in the flyback, which I think is sort of cool. And not only is that Agenhor, but also the earlier ones, the ones by Singer Reimagined and Fabergé, they also have the hour hand. I don't know how much you use an hour hand in a chronograph. I mean, just in there timing things. Why not just use the hour hand that's on the sort of the main sweep? Okay. Do you think of Geo Senator Navigator? Generally, I like the GeoNet, the Geo Senator. I like. I don't know what it is, but I do like them. Um, I like this. The Omega Speedmaster. Now, Tim, don't give me a big number like that. I don't know what that means. If you mean the hand wound Man on the Moon, that one I like. The other ones are okay. I mean, let's just let's see. Okie dokie dokie dokie. Chronos are for cooking. Yeah, chronos are for cooking. Man, I tell you, I'd love to have one of those streamliners. It'd be a $40,000 egg timer. That would be great. I wouldn't mind at all. The thing that's interesting about that one, it doesn't have a second hand, so to speak. It does and it doesn't. The only I was looking at that Patek Philippe, and it's got the small seconds at 9 o'clock, and then it has, I think, the sweep hand is the chronograph second, and then they have at 3 o'clock they have this half hour thingy for the chronograph. What do you need the small seconds for? You got a chronograph. You want to do some second timing, use a chronograph. Okay. Bill, the new Moser looks great. Thank you very much. Any regrets on purchasing it? Let's see. No, none at all. I had to go through, it was sort of an interesting path because, sometimes there's so many things that to want in watch collection. Say, gee, wouldn't it be cool to have this? Or wouldn't it be cool to have this? Long time ago, I thought, oh, I really want a brown dial. A brown dial has got to be really cool. Then I forgot about it. Right. So then I got I couldn't get the first one I wanted, couldn't get the second one I wanted, and then I saw this brown one. I said, "I've always wanted a brown one." So I got the brown one, which is probably the one I should have wanted in the first place. This is such a crazy thing. Um, with the gold, it just, I mean, it's more fun to look at. It just, you know, um, can I tell the time at a glance? Sometimes. A lot of times I can't. Um, to the flag is the button that can returns the second hand to zero. That's a flyback. Um, hey, you guys, Eric, uh, what are you guys talking in numbers for? I don't know what they mean. All right. Do you have any trouble reading brown dial? Ah, mm, you know, it's it, it's a little. The light has to be right, but looking at this watch, I don't have a problem looking at it, but just at a glance, here you got a gold on top of brown. It's not exactly super high contrast, but God, it looks good. That's a nice thing. High beauty of scent. Uh, I could see other streamliner iteration being considerably less expensive if they're made with in-house Moser movement. Mark, uh, God, I think that there's nothing inexpensive about a Moser movement to begin with. I think I see what your reasoning is, and I don't disagree with that. What I think may happen, which would be really cool, would be to have some kind of way to produce the Augengraph. That's the movement we're talking about, and that's not a movement with that is a chronograph stacked on top of a regular movement. Rather, the whole thing is integrated. I mean, here you've got it's just like one brilliant thing after the other. You have as you turn over on the back and you're looking at the watch, you see all of the movement. And it says, Sonata Michael, where's the rotor? Oh, well, the rotor is sandwiched between the movement and the dial. That's a great place to put it. Nobody can see it. It works just fine. Hey, Christos, brown on yellow gold looks amazing. Thanks, man. I tell you, I just love it. Um, Not getting a Moser is something to regret. I agree. Um, the thing about Mosers, though, this is what I found out about this one. This one is called an Endeavor Center Seconds, and I was looking around, and then I saw one's called a Monad or something like that. There was another one called a Mariner, and they're all turned out to be all the same watch. The thing that was most important to me was the HMC 343 movement. Now, this movement is a 7-day movement. It's got a double barrel, which I'm assuming is serial. um, and so far, so good. I wound it once on when I got it on what's today? Saturday. I think I got it Thursday. Yeah, I got it Thursday. Wound it up, and it's just been keeping perfect time. I did a little run on it on my time grapher. Thing is coming up within a second of an hour, and that's running at 2.5 hertz, 18,000 semi oscillations per hour. Any thoughts on the Pat? Rob, will you quit dropping numbers on me? Tell me the name of it. The annual calendar regulator. Oh, I love that one, Rob. Oh, that is so cool. That was a watch that they quit making and they brought back. I love regulators. I've mentioned more than once. Here's my regulator, my perpetual regulator. Beauty of Scent. What do you think of Joma Shop and their in-house warranty? I saved so much money with I bought one watch and one winder from Joma Shop, and I got a great deal on both of them. And the watch I got never had to use a warranty before. The one purchase that I made that I had to use a warranty was from Govberg, and this was on my wife's Louis Vuitton World Timer thing. And boy, they took it and fixed it and sent it right back to me. So I had really good service from them, and that was on a service warranty. Hey, Javier, see, what is the difference between a Parmigiani XL and their Hebdo de Mari? It's manually wound 8 day. Clyde has one. Those the Hebdo Madari is an 8 day hand wound. This is something about Parmigiani that I really like. He is one of the few living watchmakers. When you buy a watch, you get one of his designs. I mean, this is not somebody who's been gone a long time and they've been recycling. Um, you can maybe haggle for 13 or 12. I agree. Make an offer on a 30 while drinking a glass of wine. At least I think I did. Yeah, I sort of like having a wine moment. Um, hey, as I said, you have no idea what cheap stuff. I don't have any cheap stuff. If you think this is inexpensive, cheap never. Okay, the HMC 343 should give you about 9.5 hours of power reserve. It is. Wait a minute, you got it wrong, Joe. It's not hours, it's days. Okay, it thing pooped out in 7 hours. I don't know. You're right though. One of the things, yeah, it's okay. One of the things about Mosers is that you always get more than promised. I have on this one. I forgot how much. It's like 72 hours or something like that. I always get a lot more than that. I never have. Once I wind it, it's good for 3 days, four sometimes. Um, okay, who are you guys screwing? Do you prefer wind watches? Absolutely, Laura. Absolutely, love hand wound watches. Which watch is your favorite simple dress watch? I have too many. That's like asking what's your favorite child. I love my FP Jordan CS. That's a great watch. This one, I nuts about this one. This one, my what is it? The Langenheim. I love that watch. God, it's a beautiful watch. My 1921. That's another one. Yeah. So you got you, the thing I've got to do. There are a couple of watches I got to sell. That's what I'm going to concentrate on this year. I've got a dream watch, and something else may fall out of the sky. I don't know, but in the meantime, I've got to start sort of cutting down on the herd, so to speak. um, oh my God, Klaus, 10 days. Wow. Okay, we're going to find out. That was the thing. That was the most disappointing thing that I saw, but I understand why they did it. If you look at the new Endeavors, they're just drop dead beautiful watches. If you look at them, they all have automatics. I mean, one of the things I think that H. Moser had to do was to get realistic about what most watch buyers wanted. And most of them wanted automatics. Watch collectors, at least watch collectors like me, I like the wind up. I mean, because I'm really in it for the collection of it and the getting my hands on this stuff and playing with it and looking at it and so forth. Uh, the sound of winding, yeah. No. It doesn't sound silly at all, Siram. Here you have, we spend all this time, and when you're winding a watch, you sit and you're looking at that thing, and you're holding a big hunk of gold or platinum or beautifully done steel. Who would want to do that? Uh, how do you sell the BC overseas because of the non-in-house movement? Maybe no, that wasn't it. I had to get. There was this watch I knew my wife would be nuts about. And that's the only way I could afford it. Oh, it was an automatic. Um, okay, let's see. On the BC 56 series. Okay, Tim, here's my view of that. What they should have, I think, Vacheron Content 10, is that they have it split right now. Half of the 56s have the Geneva seal and everything that's done by Vacheron Constant 10. The other ones have this Val Fleurier movement without the Geneva seal. And when you split them like that, so somebody gets the expensive one and the nicer one, they look a lot. They say, "What do you got? A 56?" Yeah, I think what they should do is keep the 56s and maybe have some sports models have like a overseas junior with one of those in it or something like that, but really separate the 56s from the other ones somehow. An affordable sports watch with one of the Val Fleurier movements, I think it'd go over great. It really dropped the price. I mean, they got them down to 11,000, which is really pretty good for Vacheron Constant 10. But then it's one of those things, right? So that's sort of my opinion, I guess. Oh, you got the Mark. Oh, yeah, yeah. You got a beautiful one. Yeah, the hand wound H. Moser Endeavor. Just love the watches. Okay, let's see what else is benign of Vestron Malte Tenno Tourbillon. Now, I'm not a fan of tourbillons. The It's just me. It's not anything else. That's just the way I am about tourbillons. The Malte, though, the Vacheron Constantin Malte is a very interesting shape. And I sort of like that. I got a feeling that you might be able to find some new old stock on that, or some that just on the Malte without the tourbillon. Hey, Nino, every watch collection should include at least one piece that you intend to pass on to your son as a legacy or your daughter. you know, well, that's an interesting thing. I got four boys, so I've got them all figured out already too. But that's a nice thought. That's a nice sentiment. Um, I don't know. Maybe at some point I'll just take them all and sell them on Christie's, and because man, I tell you, trying to get everybody the even thing may be very difficult. They'd rather have the money too. I think none of them are watch collectors. What's your take on, hey, Beauty of Scent, the new offering from Scully called Rodent? I know nothing of that, Beauty of Scent. Um, okay. Uh, Not a fan of Tourbies either. Yeah. Well, James, I don't have anything against them. It just, doesn't. I mean, they're so expensive. They're even more expensive to have serviced, and how much they really add to the how well the watch works is something I've always wondered about. Now, on the other hand, you take a Remontois. Now, that's to me is what I really love to have, but the Remontois are just all of them, even the bargain ones are $54,000. So that's the closest I think I'm going to come to a Remontois is the Jaeger LeCoultre True Seconds. Now the Remontois is not on the main uh, gear train, but rather it's on the second hands. So you have jumping seconds, and there's a little Remontois that kicks it around. Well, that's something I might be able to afford, and I have been thinking of that. What do I think about Weiler? I'm not sure about Weiler. Okay. Hi, Epra. How you doing, man? Um, Volume went out on my side. All right, can you hear it okay now? All right, Christos. I take a tourbillon and a pocket watch. Hmm. uh, let's see. What else you got? Can you speak to the El Primero, Mark? Mark, um, Mark, you want to speak up? I guess Mark Phillips. You got a question from Mark Cole. He wants to know about an El Primero. Love to see a tourbillon astronaut experiment in space. Ooh, that would be cool. Elman, is Blancpain Le Brasses tourbillon carousel rare? What are the most rare tourbillons? I don't know because like I said, I don't pay that much attention to them. Carousel is something else, so that's very interesting gizmo. Okay, let's see what else you got here. You have a 343 now. Got a geo physic 2 second. Yeah, and that's something. That's exactly what I was thinking about. But I've got to fill up the cup, so to speak. I finally bought the Volcane. Now looking for a regulator. Thinking Maurice Lacroix. Two good choices, Nino. I like the Volcane. I've often, boy, I tell you, that's been a big tempting for me too. Maurice Lacroix. Where's my? Here is my Maurice Lacroix, and it's got an outlaw movement in it. Love this watch. Just love it. And then the Dunhill that I got for me and was immediately taken over by my wife. That also has an outlaw movement. That's the what I call the Jockey 736. Blanc Pawn as white bread. Oh, okay. Do I prefer the tradition or classic? Oh man, I like them both, Tippy. I really do like them both. But if I was gonna get a Breguet, I'd get the tradition. No two ways about it. Even though I like the classic, I've got too many other watches like the classic. I think that would be the big thing. Hey, look, guys. Woo, wow, we're 15 minutes over. I'm gonna get in trouble. And so, listen. Thank you all for coming. And on Sunday, I don't know what we're going to have. By the way, I really could, if anybody wants their collection reviewed, send it in. I'm out of collections to review. So I don't know, I'll do something strange on Sunday. Not strange, but fun. All right. Hope to see you all then. Take care and get what you want.